Sovryn is the only system in the world in which tokens that are bridged don't enter the system directly. Instead, they go into an aggregator contract. So if you've ever used Sovryn, you'll see that the token that was bridged, like the ETH token that was bridged, first of all, is coming through several different bridges, and more bridges are being added. But those tokens don't enter into Sovryn. Instead, what enters into Sovryn is ETH, right? ETH. Now, why is this important? Because what that means is that if one of those bridges gets compromised, the token is in the aggregator and can be moved out of the aggregator, right? And basically converted into a token from one of the other bridges. And so Sovryn as a system has airlocks around it. It's basically, I think of it in my mind, I think of it as Fortress Sovryn, right? There's this massive wall around Sovryn, which doesn't allow potentially corrupted or corruptible Trojan horses in. You know, that was a huge amount of investment and continues to be a huge amount of investment in our core team. One of the reasons, you know, the Sovryn community has built a huge amount in a short space of time in terms of like products visible to users. But what's crazy is how much underneath it has been built, right? If we were operating sort of without a view to building fundamentally solid foundations, we would have built 2 or 3 times as much, because these solid foundations are very, very complicated to build, but they are being built out. And it's also one of the reasons that Sovryn hasn't shifted from alpha to beta. It's also one of the reasons why Zero is still in limited early access, right? Because we take this idea of making sure that the core components are fundamentally sound before we try to build fancy widgets around it. So I love that question, because it's actually something I don't think I've ever discussed, why we've built the aggregators in the way that we've built the aggregators. But it means that Sovryn is the only system in the world that is immune to that kind of thing.